the market will expand? Will the parts of the revenue that touch Microsoft expand? So Copilot is an example where if you look early this year, I think, I guess according to Dylan's numbers, the Copilot revenue, GitHub Copilot revenue was like 500 million or something like that. And then there were like no close competitors. Whereas now you have Claude Code, Cursor, and Copilot with around similar revenue, around $1 billion. And then Codex is catching up around 700, 800 million. And so the question is, across all the services that Microsoft has access to, what is the advantage that Microsoft's equivalents of Copilot have?
Yeah. By the way, I love this chart. I love this chart for so many reasons. One is we're still on the top. Second is all these companies that are listed here are all companies that have been born in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
That to me is the best sign, right? Which is if you have new competitors, new existential problems, when you say, man, who's it? Now, Claude's going to kill you. Cursor is going to kill you.
Yeah.
It's not Borland, right? So thank God. Like that means we are in the right direction. But this is it, right? The fact that we went from nothing to this scale is the market expansion. So this is like the cloud-like stuff. This fundamentally, this category of coding and AI is probably going to be one of the biggest categories, right? It is a software factory category. In fact, it may be bigger than knowledge work.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to keep myself open-minded about, we're going to have tough competition. I think that's your point, which I think is a great one. But man, like I'm glad we parlayed what we had into this. And now we have to compete. And so in the compete side, even in the last quarter, we did our quarterly announcement. I think we grew from 20 to 26 million subs, right? So I feel good about our sub growth and where the direction of travel on that is. But the more interesting thing that has happened is, guess where all the repos of all these other guys who are generating lots and lots of code go to? They go to GitHub. So GitHub is at an all-time high in terms of repo creation, PRs, everything. So that, in some sense, we want to keep that open, by the way. That means we want to have that, right? Because we don't want to conflate that with our own growth, right? Interestingly enough, we're getting one developer joining GitHub a second or something. That is the stat, I think. And then 80% of them just fall into some GitHub Copilot workflow just because there are. And by the way, many of these things will even use some of our code review agents, which are by default on just because you can use it. So we'll have many, many structural shots at this. The thing that we're also going to do is what we did with Git, the primitives of GitHub, whether starting with Git, to issues, to actions. These are powerful, lovely things because they kind of are all built around your repo. So we want to extend that. Last week at GitHub Universe, that's kind of what we did, right? So we said Agent HQ was the conceptual thing that we said we were going to build out. This is where, for example, you have a thing called mission control. And you go to mission control, and now I can fire off. Sometimes I describe it as the cable TV of all these AI agents because I'll have essentially packaged into one subscription, Codex, Claude, cognition stuff, anyone's agents, Grok, all of them will be there. So I get one package, and then I can literally go issue a task, steer them. So they will all be working in their independent branches. I can monitor them. So I literally have, because I think that's going to be one of the biggest places of innovation, right? Because right now, I want to be able to use multiple agents. I want to be able to then digest the output of the multiple agents. I want to be able to then keep a handle on my repo. So there's some kind of a heads-up display that needs to be built. And then for me to quickly steer and triage what the coding agents have generated. That, to me, between VS Code, GitHub, and all of these new primitives we will build as mission control, I think with a control plane, observability, think about every one who's going to deploy all this will require a whole host of observability of what agent did what, at what time, to what code base. So I feel that's the opportunity. And at the end of the day, your point is well taken, which is we better be competitive and innovate. And if we don't, yes, we will get toppled. But I like the chart, at least as long as we're on the top, even with competition.
If you enjoyed this clip, you can watch the full episode here and subscribe for more clips. Thanks.